Good morning, people. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How you all doing today? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I hope. Yes, the gang here. My little babies are with me, my fur babies. Lily, Lilac, and Lavender are my crew. And we're all kind of, two of us are, three of us, I should say, on the Big Easy. And one of them is on their pillow, snoring. So that's not me. Yes, we're all doing well this lovely, lovely early Tuesday morning. Yes, today is Tuesday, October 24, 2023, and the time is now looks like 4:35 a.m. and it is 44 degrees out there. Woo! Yes, fall weather is here. Yes, so make sure you bundle up if you live in the northeast of America. It's cold. But it's okay when you kind of bundle up. It's really great weather to walk in. And yes, my little fur babies, they have their little coats, their sweaters. So, yeah, so good morning, Tuesday morning. Yeah, well, I slept out here in the living room and woke up maybe an hour ago. I feel pretty good this morning. Got my water here next to me, and yeah, I had slept outside of my bedroom, and yes, I had my computer on, playing videos. And I want to talk to you about some of the things I'm seeing here. I'm actually very irritated about these two videos. One I watched yesterday, and then one for today, just a moment ago, a labor issue. And I feel for it's an emotional issue when you talk about labor in New York City with all the migrant situation. Um, I know it's kind of maybe controversial what I'm going to talk about, especially when you're dealing with the poor. And yeah, I'm the working poor, well, not retired, modest income. It's hard for all of us these days, especially if you want to live a certain lifestyle, um, have certain amenities under you. No one wants to feel unappreciated. I think labor has to do with the equal give and take of energy. It's all about the energy, people. Um, I wanted to tell a little bit about myself regarding unions, in particular, unions and labor. Yeah, I had my history. Yeah, very very shaky work history with regard to labor. Definitely, especially if people really know me. Um, and I'm going to talk to you about through my perspective, and I want to share with you a video, the video that really pissed me off yesterday. I think it was more about attitude and current situations here in New York City, and it's like a trigger for me because I'm coming out of a history of labor and how lucky, you know, when you can say you have a job, count yourself blessed because it could be pulled away from you, and boy has things in my life been pulled away. But I do feel very strongly about having a good work ethic, and that's what should really prevail because that's what's going to carry you and your lineage to the next level, how I feel. But yes, people may think about the now, instant gratification, and entitlement. I don't feel that I'm entitled, but I do feel you to be honest in your dealings with people. And the customer shouldn't be the brunt of your frustrations. I mean, I can understand different aspects. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Uh, but I feel very strongly about this. These unions, in particular, labor unions, and in the current work environment. Wow. Um, so let me share with you a video that I saw yesterday. And then I'm also going to talk to you about the video today, more of the labor issue, union. But the two, they both deal with who you're going to see. And we have to be very careful, people. You know, um, you may think you're doing the right thing at the moment, but you're shooting yourself in the leg, in my opinion. And there's a way about doing things. And this isn't one of them. Again, you shouldn't take your frustrations out on customers when your work agreement is with who hired you, in a nutshell. So let me share with you the video. It can take a few minutes, but I share the screen here. Get this right. Okay, this is the video that I saw, and it's not too long. See how I played it.
Fight hard is
Oops, sorry.
you can see how much work it was and why I should be getting a tip because of how much work.
No, you don't deserve
Yes,
a tip.
I
You
do.
certainly don't.
Why do I not?
You're crushing the ramen noodles for
I'm
one.
not
With
crushing
it. Yes,
anything. The
you
ramen
are.
noodles are perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
they're not.
They're perfectly
You're trying
fine.
to crush them.
They're not crushed. And why does it matter anyways? I'm
You're
taking
not
it back
doing
to
your
the store. They're
job.
not for
So
you
why would you
anymore.
get a tip?
They're not for you anymore. I just told you why I should get a tip.
They-
I have to pack all of this in my car and
I
bring it to
paid
you
for
guys
them.
and unpack it. You did not pay me. You paid the service. You paid the
I paid for
delivery
this
app.
food, okay?
You paid the delivery app. You did not pay me.
Give
Do you not understand that? No, I'm taking all of this back.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No.
You guys can get your refund, and
No.
another delivery driver can deal with you guys. I'm not going to deal with
No,
you.
you're stealing.
No, I'm not
You
doing
are
it. I'm
stealing
taking
for
it back.
How
to
do
the
we know
store.
you're
gonna
I'm
take it back
taking
to the store?
Okay.
What is wrong with you?
You can see how
All
much
this-
work it was and why I should be
Okay.
getting a tip because of how much work
No,
it
you
was.
don't.
Sorry. Okay. Wow. Now, and I think there's a longer version of that video. When I saw that video, I had extreme anger. Extreme anger. Um, the evidently, someone had purchased $400 worth of stuff, and it was to be delivered to someone. So the woman, the person had in their vehicle and unloaded the product that was paid for, and they didn't get a tip. So she decides, well, no tip. I'm going to take back the items that I just unpacked. Looked like big stuff that was that she had unpacked. I mean, put outside. Now she's going to load it back. See, doubling her work, back in her car and drive it back to the store. This was really triggering emotionally for me. Um, And it's a black woman, and she has a nice, cute little outfit on, and her long hairpiece looks like. And she's taking it out on the customer, and she's putting on herself, the deliverer person, that I'm not a, I don't appreciate not getting a tip. So I'm gonna put it back in my heart. So she's doing extra work and her phone. And she blocked the customer from even getting her belongings that she paid for. Yeah, I consider it theft and holding ransom uh, her items that she lawfully paid for, and to be huffy about it. See, how I feel is that the customer has no agreement with the employee. As a customer, your agreement is with the store owner who sets up policies and procedures. And that the agreement was you pay for the items you want, and then we're going to deliver it to you. And that's all that the contract is. And your beef as an employee is your employer about certain um, your rights and everything like that. And pay issues is with the person who hires you and not the customer. Um, and you're taking it on your own. So you're going against policy of the company that you made an agreement with, an employer-employee relationship, not with the customer. And so you're going to say, well, you don't get your stuff. Isn't that, what's the word for that? There is a word for that. Isn't that extortion, a type of extortion? You better do this or else. See, we're getting ugly now, and it's sad that they show that it's a black woman doing it. A young black woman doing this to a customer. Is it a racial issue because it's the white woman? It's the customer, and it's an angry black woman. When those angry black woman syndrome, you're gonna take it out on whitey. I don't know. I find it quite disturbing. When when I make a purchase, I just want to get my stuff and get out. I don't want drama. This was drama, over the top in my opinion. I'm really angry when I watch it. I'm embarrassed as a black woman to see a young black woman being beefy against a client who so happens to be a white female. I think that that dynamic, she's angry at the young white girl doing something for Miss Daisy, and Miss Daisy, sometimes it's our attitude. So she's bringing that on. She's doing it. Okay, you do a job, and you don't like it. There might be a reason why about the tip to ensure promptness or professionalism. And what her behavior is not professional. When you're arguing with the paying client, just do your job and go. And you can say, as an employee, hey, if that address comes in here, I would not deliver. See, that is your option as an employee. then you may not want to work and do something for a client. That is your prerogative. But then the employer has a right to. Oh, well, this is the client and you don't want to deliver. Well, you must not want this job. And they can give it to someone else. And as a Black American woman who's been through a lot of crap for the 40 plus years as an adult in the market, the job market, um, jobs can come and go. And yes, as Black Americans, we have our history of labor. Yes, from slavery to uh, job market. Being salaried. See, no one owns us anything. I realize in life, it's really all about you. It's all about you and your choice of where you want to work and what you want to do for a living. And I know that some people may not agree. And they may feel, hey, this woman did a work and she should get paid her tip. But again, a tip, that is something. See, that's not what's in your contract when you work for that employer about a tip. And no one should be hijacked for a tip. You are to get paid the agreed salary. You're not there, your contract says nothing about tips. And when people start to hijack and mistreat the client, now if the client is being rude to you, say I can't pronounce it now, being vulgar to you, that is something else. And then you call your manager, okay? But when you go outside of what management tells you to do, you know, I don't know, I don't like our behavior. I don't like our behavior. And jobs are hard to come by. Jobs are hard to come by. And a lot of us from the Black community, we do a lot of things within our communities. And we don't maintain it. We let every riffraff in our community, but you're gonna get huffy for freaking tip. Um, Jobs are hard to come by for everybody. $400 groceries, whatever, it's a lot of money, in my opinion, a lot of money. And the lady, the employee who's providing the delivery. Now, that much, she could say, the client could say, I would never shop at your store again. That $400 that she's paying for, that she paid for, not going to pay for, but paid for. Yeah, she could say, I'm not going to do business with you. Now, if you got a whole bunch of bitching employees going out to the public and deciding on themselves how they want to be treated by this or that, not with what the employer instructed them to do, you can lose the business. You can lose the business and all shut down in that Black community. They could also, the company could also move that business into another neighborhood. And the sister so-and-so in her weave and her fancy warm-up suit will have to go somewhere else. See, she's directing her anger at the wrong person. It's not about Miss Daisy. There's always going to be Miss Daisy, who you perceive as Miss Daisy. Well, Miss Daisy pays your fucking rent, your health insurance, gives you money so you can pay for that hair weave and nails and fancy suit. See, it's a lack of maturity. There's a way to handle something. And the way that that woman, regardless of race, handled it. You don't like that you didn't get the type of tip. Well, it's hard. Life is hard for everybody. Paying $400 fucking dollars for your groceries. Excuse my language. But when money is tight for everybody. And you're there to do your job. And when you have to act like that you someone who work for tips. Do not work for tips. The tips is not your source. Your salary is your source. The agreement you made with your employer and what you're doing as a foolish woman, you're attacking the customer. You are attacking that customer who is paying for your lifestyle. The bulk of what you get is what the money agreement you made with your employer, and now you're attacking the client. See, our attitude over the years, and I understand the anger. I understand. You feel you're being treated unfairly. See, when I first started out in my life in 1980, I got my very first paying job. It was for this city of New York. And you didn't have any say in that. It was a closed shop. And they take union dues. And you do have to pass a probation period. And I felt like, wow, they take money, but you're not protected. Your rights really. It's, in my opinion, unions is corruption. I feel the union shops is really about organized crime. Because everything is about labor and everybody wants a part of your labor. You do the job, but then this organization that's supposed to represent you, do they really represent? But they become wealthy, these unions. They could influence lawmakers of the land, influence them about labor issues, whatever. It's never really about the employee. But sometimes unions could protect the give benefits. It's supposed to be about a fairness of wage to pay. Wage and pay, what you do, the energy that you give, the energy you should receive in the form of money. And other benefits, maybe, health insurance, all that other stuff. It's about sharing the wealth, what that company makes. But also what's about labor, that you have a choice. This is not a plantation, people. It's about your choice of deciding what type of company you want to work for. And I saw I know one time I saw, we have a store here called Dwayne Reed. It's a big chain store. But I think it was bought out by another company, but it's still known as Dwayne Reed. It's a place you can get all these little, that you can get things to eat, uh, toiletries, um, school equipment, a lot of everything. It's a great store to have. And I remember this person that I used to live with. See, it's a store. It's unskilled labor. You have someone at the cashier. You have the people who fill the stock up, things like that. And then it has a lot of traffic, so people are coming and going, coming and going. So it's money's always coming in. It's providing a service. And this person I know, they want to put in a union. And I remember that the militancy behind her actions. And it can get ugly when a company, a private company, and then you get people, an agitator, they want to change it. They want to rock the boat. See, if you come into something that isn't union, and again, labor is free, you make the agreement with the person. You don't like the pay or whatever, or the health benefits, then go somewhere else, in my opinion. You don't like how you're being treated, go somewhere else. Because I realized in my life, with the very first job I had, I realized now, I had a choice. And, eventually I did leave to go into school. But your labor is your choice where you want to work. And then there are a lot of unfair things that happen when you work for the city. Oh yeah, I heard slurs. Yeah, back then, 1980. Yeah, the uh, work with blacks and whites and Jews. It was very challenging. They talk about rights now in 2023. You go back 43 years ago, what labor was like. Yeah, back then, a lot of private companies did not want to hire black people. Oh yeah, yeah. Back then, blacks uh, reputation was very sour. The media said bad things, made black people look very dangerous and everything. So of course, these many of these employers, private companies, did not want to hire black people. So a lot of blacks back in the day, we worked for the city, transit, whether it be bus or subways, um, the post office, the things like the police and the firemen were pretty much blacks. A lot of blacks were closed out of those jobs. They didn't want blacks in those city jobs. But slowly, the police force has opened up considerably to black people. But the firemen closed to black people. Yeah, back in the day, they used to have what's called your psychological, like that. So you can pass the union exam. It's a test that you take for these unions, union shop jobs, these city jobs. You take a civil service exam. But how they get you is the psychological portion. And black people just couldn't seem to pass the psychological. Go figure. And then now later on, now it's slowly opening up. So I wonder whether our psychologicals of the past. So is it wanted now? So they want our psychological state now. Go figure. But this is what history was like in America, in New York City where I lived. But I saw the corruption behind a lot of these unions. And you think that you're paying for um, rights and freedoms and all that. But I saw that it was very corrupt, in my opinion. Um, and then I saw another video a moment ago, just before I did this one. Um, these processing plants. And again, they showed Black people, and they're protesting about certain things that are going on. Labor should be respected. And I felt the frustration behind her voice that this particular company that makes the soy products, the protein bars and things like that, that they're giving less benefits now. They're taking away benefits. No one wants benefits taken away, and especially when the company is making a lot of profits. They said how many profits, net profits that they're gaining. It is sad when an employer does not value the employees. But again, it is your choice where you work. Again, those plans, they're not working for tips. They are salaried. But I don't like this weaponization of who's going to do what. I see the country going downhill when talking about products and service. When the customer gets, I know it kind of sounds like I'm kind of in favor of unions, what can happen without a union, your rights and money, all that. But I feel in a nutshell, you don't like working at a place, you have the freedom to leave. And you have the freedom to maybe start your own business. Our attitudes, like that woman that I showed you, who's going to put on their own, make their own decision, their own management decision on a client. You don't give me what I want, I'm going to return the product. And so who's going to get targeted next? People who think like her, who are going to take it out on a client, paying client. The client wasn't rude or anything like that. And even if the client was rude, drop off the product, do the product, what the service was. She's being paid to deliver something, deliver it. But see, as Black people, if that's not her personal business, she doesn't own a company. Again, she should have just left the product there. What was the contract agreement, and then go back and complain to her boss. She could have done that. Now you're going to wonder why certain people don't want to do business in certain neighborhoods. Certain people don't want to go into certain companies, and that's what's happening here in New York City. See, I take it personal because, I see 40 plus years of history, things that I observed, and where it's going down. People don't want to do business. We have a lot of so-called Blacks or so-called third world nations. And New York City is turning into that third world nation. New York City. People from everywhere in these locations in the world, poverty nations, low-skill nations, or I should say individuals. And they flock here now to New York City. And I'm not trying to be pejorative, but I'm using words that we all know what it means. And that's why I'm using it. Your labor is labor. It's pure. But what I see what's going on now is that the stores are closing down. All those who are remaining, they walk around with a chip on their shoulder. It's a turnoff. It's a turnoff. We used to have this big, this big department store. We used to have one demographic who worked in that store. 20 years ago when I first came down here in this neighborhood. The service was excellent. And then I noticed as time went on, the past maybe 10 years, it changed. And now you have people from neighborhoods, poverty neighborhoods, ghetto neighborhoods, and their behaviors and attitudes with it. They're coming to prime real estate areas. They're given the opportunities. Here's an opportunity. I mean, F up on it. They come from Bronx and Brooklyn and way uptown. And they come to these other neighborhoods, very polished. And it's like the mindset is like from back where they're from, streety, violent. I saw my job, it was 21 years ago. I remember there were fights, fist fights. It was a real a retail store. We sold clothing, brand name clothing. And you get these women, primarily these real streety neighborhoods, and they come down to another neighborhood to work in these stores, really nice stores, and they F it up for everybody. There were fist fights that went on. Oh yeah, a lot of, and a lot of people getting fired. Oh yeah, has a high turnover that job. I'm not going to give the name of that job. Yeah, I was eventually released from that job too, due to being attacked by one of these street people. Yeah, and you're not protected. See, it's like you're really at your own. You have to protect yourself. See, it's that when you're given opportunity, so-called minorities. Which minorities am I talking about? I'm talking about blacks, Black Americans, West Indians, and Hispanics from the islands primarily who work in these retail stores. We bring in our immaturity, our streetiness, and it becomes the wild, wild west. And people get fed up. The customers. You're at your own risk when you go into some of these establishments to just buy something. Or if you want to return something, you bring in your nasty attitude. Our behavior sucks. I'm embarrassed about our behavior. And people get fed up and they want to leave. They say, I'm not going to do my business there. I don't want to do business in certain stores. Because what it's turning into a third world, narrow-minded, ghetto behavior. Yeah, a lot of the whites have left. Yeah, a lot of whites have left here. And who are they getting to fill these positions? But people with a third world mentality, like that woman that I showed you in that video. And everyone else suffers of the Black and so-called minority community here. You're not the minority or the majority here in New York City. And when you put things in your own hands and not what company policy says, you harm everybody else. And now in New York City, you have what you call the migrant workers. The migrant workers. 10,000 a month arrived in New York City. And last month, it was calculated that 120,000 of these young people, men who are of military age, about 22 years old, 20, 22, 23 years of age, and young women. And many of these women have little babies, or are even pregnant. And they flock in the streets of New York City, where I live. It is a madhouse. You have people, women, to make some money. They have their little babies with them, little toddlers and things like that. They have a shopping cart and this little fruit cups. It is unlawful for them to serve food, fresh food, in the street, and to handle money while you are preparing the food. It is illegal to do that, but they're flocking all over, and the cops aren't stopping it. And the cops are not going to stop this making money. See, I know it sounds selfish. People might say, "Wow, Spirit Journey sounded very selfish." No, I'm being very practical. And 43 years seeing the labor and what's happening, I see a takeover. And I see us shooting ourselves in the foot. When you should have been speaking out, you shouldn't be speaking out for a fucking tip. Do your fucking job and go home. And if you don't like the job, get another job. But what you really, Black folk, should really, really be focused on is that you don't have a job left. You're arguing and fighting the paying client who paid it up front, paid for a service. And then you're going to hijack the product. Say, well, you don't get the product unless you give me money. That is extortion, in my opinion. The client didn't pay for that being extorted. You have all these illegals, and they're being funneled in your neighborhood, your Black neighborhood. And they don't complain. You have over 100,000, 120,000 of them, young people. And they're gonna, the businesses are gonna hire them. Why? Because they won't complain. And any money that these new migrants get is gonna be better than what they came from. You're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that. What they're getting, your pennies, is more than what they got in their own countries. The money that they're gonna get here be better, free healthcare, free education for those little ones. Free. And the wage that they'll be getting is better than what they got in their own countries. And they're coming in large numbers. You think they're going to learn how to speak English? No. It's going to be a country within a country. And then these Black women in America, in places like New York City, think that you can just flip your hair weave and your fancy long nails and new sneakers, that you're going to keep your job and you're going to thug a paying customer, girlfriend. You're going to find yourself out of a job because we lack wisdom in how we handle and conduct ourselves. And when we're given opportunities of these jobs. See, I've been in the job force, for 43 years. I saw it all. I see it all. And in the early 80s, a lot of Blacks weren't in certain industries. Look at the, like I have dogs right now. The pet shops, things like that. They didn't have Black people working in there, or even Afro-Latinos. They were strictly European, like new arrivals from Europe, Eastern Europe or something like that. Yeah, there weren't Black people in there. And a couple of years ago, I was walking past one of these shops. There's a famous pet shop near this school, at this college that I used to go to when I first started out. It's a high-end pet shop. Look who works in there now. A real F up. See, now what I saw, they were expensive dogs. They were Frenchie dogs. And in the cage, and they were one of them was obviously sick. It had red eye, and draining. It was a sick dog. It was a puppy. And the dog the dog was in the cage with another dog. The dog was lying down, very sick. And it was the dog peed in the ear of the other dog. Now the ear infection. And so the street girl that worked in there was laughing. Hey, this Afro-Latino, dark-skinned Afro-Latino, takes a smartphone, to videotape this event. I would have fired that woman on the spot. We do things. See, you can't eat your cake and keep it too. When I saw that, now this used to be a very high-end shop. It didn't have Black people working in there, or Afro-Latinos or whatever from the islands. When you don't respect the place that you work at, and again, see the history. This girl, there was a young girl. She didn't know the history of the neighborhood. She's not from that neighborhood. This was a very high-end neighborhood on the east side, 50s east side, very affluent neighborhood. That's where all the rich people went to buy. Back then they didn't have all that issues with pet shops and the cruelty to animal stuff. I think they want you to get directly from the breeder. But back then in those days, 40 plus years ago, they didn't really have that. But it was a high-end shop. And you conducted yourself a certain way. And now you have an opportunity because a lot of these whites are leaving, you have the opportunity to make your positive mark on an industry that was closed to you. And now that you're in, you're gonna disrespect it. You're gonna laugh immaturely. You're gonna separate that dog and clean it out. This dog, the Frenchie dogs are expensive. That is your meat and potatoes. When you sell sick dogs and that reputation comes out, no one will buy your product. Protect your product. See, it's not her product. She's working for a fucking check. She's working for a fucking tip. Now it's like a lot of stores now, no matter where you go, they have a little cup and a tip thing. And it's like you feel like you're gonna be hijacked. That's how you feel. Oh, I bet they didn't give me this or that. That's the mindset of the current workforce in New York City. When you get people who are socially oppressed, whether real or imaginary, and then you feel you want to just, you want the big game, you want the big lifestyle, and you blame the client for what you don't have, rather than seeing past the tip. Do a good job. Doing a good job for the company will help you maintain the company you work for. You want to keep a good reputation for the company. And when you go and do things beyond you're being told to do, and you do that to a client, or you're with the restaurant, do your job. Do your job, people. Do your job and do it with excellence. Don't work for tips. Work to keep your job. And if you don't like that job, find another one. Also, what I find it, one makes it why it's so personal for me. Like, I live in this building. It's a high-rise building, really nice. And I see over the years, it's going down and down. They're not cleaning as well the facility. It's not when I first came in, it was brand new. It was a brand new building, and I'm the first tenant in this unit. We had a doorman, and when I was a student, I had different hours, and I would say hello and a little chit chat. And they're from a lot of the people that work in these buildings. They're from other countries. Most of them, the mass majority, from what they call Latin America. And I think that weaponization is happening. The what I call the microaggressions is starting. Yeah, I'm the American. And I asked one day, oh, do I have I said mail, but I meant to say package. See, when you get the packages, it goes in another room, because they're big. This all goes in this other, this storage room. And we get, they usually, they do email us to let us know that a delivery came in, whatever. But you just come in, the desk was right there, and you just say, I have a packet. And this person goes off. It is completely uncharacteristic of this person. They had a positive relationship with this person. That might have happened about, I've been in the building at that time maybe 17, 18 years. And all of a sudden, whoa, what's going on? So I just kind of dismissed it. I was like, whoa. And then last year, I forget what it was now. Oh, I remember what happened. I was leaving the building, and he has a doorman who's supposed to open the door. He refused to open the door. I said, "Excuse me, could you get the door?" Because I had the stroller. I had to tell him, "Excuse me, are you going to open the door?" See, he saw me coming. I was on my way out, and he looks like he was with one other person and just talking. It's casual, no one else was around. It was very quiet, so it wasn't like they're busy, whatever. And he sees me, then he turns his eyes away. I saw what he did, and then I approached the door. I said, "Excuse me, could you get the door?" And then he hesitantly, opens the door, but his attitude, I said, and I left. I was very hurt. My feelings were hurt. Now, I've been in the building now for 20 years, 20 plus years. Positive work environment, but it is positive. I always greet everybody. And why all of a sudden this change? Because you have now a new and dominant force of people from other parts of the world. They take out their frustrations on the client slash the tenant. I don't live here for free. When I pay my rent, they get their salary. And the job is union. So here, even the union, and again, they get paid good money. The people who work in these apartment buildings, the private buildings, they get paid well. They get help and everything. And they come from other countries. But all of a sudden, now what's happening? It's like an us and them. I'm the bad American. I'm the bad, I doubt they would do that if I was a white man. Yeah, and also it was the super. No, that's been for 20 years. I might have spoken to him maybe 5 times for something in 20 years at this building, the same unit. And he flips out on me in front of the employers. I said, "Whoa, you bet I reported him. You bet I reported him." See, that it's that microaggression. That is beyond micro. It's the attitude of the people. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Yes, people, attitude. And 20 years, 20 years to get a place. Yeah, he did that thing last year, was no, early last year he did that. Had just flipped out, yelling on the top of his, because I told him, "Hey, this thing came back. This issue came back in the apartment. Gonna be there for 20 years, back then, 19 years. He flipped out. And I remember when I first came to the building, it says, "Oh, if you have a complaint, you come to me directly and we handle it. Don't go to the office." Well, what happens when that person does something to you? Yes, I reported him. And you know what, people? See, when you do ugliness, he has cancer. He and his wife. He was to retire in January of this year. And I saw him in January. The incident happened last year. And I said, something, maybe it's just a bad moment. So, just forgive the guy. And remember last year I was to move. So I said, "Hey, I told him I was going to be moving and everything, blah, blah. I wanted to smooth things over. I didn't want to leave with a nasty taste in my mouth. He said, look, because we have, 19 years to know somebody. It's a long time. And we all make mistakes. Sometimes, just in a bad moment, whatever. And I really want to promote peace. And then earlier this year, yes, I didn't see him for quite a while because, I changed my hours because it's very, I have to change my hours because of the violence that's outside now. I told you about the attack and other things that happened to me. So I have to keep on changing, for protecting me and my little dogs. And just last week, someone tried to steal my little boy, my little doggy. Um, so in January of this year hit, um, I see the super. So I was happy to see him because New Year's had just passed. And I said, hey, so and so. He was coming out of the elevator and I was coming in, but he did look a little different. But I was happy to see him. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I hear that you're retiring. He just looks at me real stupid. He mumbles something, and has a cane, well, a walking cane. I'm like, what? And he just ignores me, and then he's looking at someone who's standing behind me. And because I was talking to him, the person the other person, yes, good morning, digital pit boss. So he walked, the other tenant, walks behind me to exit the building, then past the elevators. And he says, oh, you're just going to walk right past me and not say hello? And this is what the super is saying. Yes. So here I'm talking to the super to greet him and hey, how you doing? Congratulations, you're retiring. Ignores me and wants someone else to recognize him and say hello and walk past me. Says, oh, no, I wasn't just, because the other person didn't want to interrupt because I was talking to him. So I said, whoa, what is this? Totally ignored. Wow, and this is 20 years. It was a 20-year marker of mine knowing this man. See that microaggressions. And then so I go to the front desk and I say, hey, what's wrong with this super? How come he looks different and is acting strange? He says, oh, he has cancer. And he's being treated here for cancer treatment. He was to leave. He can't leave the building now because his chemotherapy is in the neighborhood, and that's what's happening. My mouth dropped. See that, people? Now, ugly is what ugly does. I'm actually sad. I'm sad for him. This super to know even if 20 years, you're about to have moments, whatever. But 20, it's like a family. You still this house to live at a place for 20 plus years, the same staff basically. It really is like a family. And this aggression now, and the mass majority of the workers here are all from Latin America. And so I start they're making me feel like I'm the bad American. I'm the bad American. They don't respect you. And there's no reason for them to disrespect me or anybody in the building. I'm now surrounded by people, my neighborhood, by migrants who are taking the benefits. And these jobs that work in these buildings, these people who work in the apartment complex, the high-rise buildings, it's good money. It's good, it's a living wage. But things are going to be changing. Things are changing. Labor is changing. And you may think you have the power to, oh, I remember the point I was going to, why I mentioned about the building I'm in. Well, there was a recent event. This new employer, well, he said he was here for 5 years, but I hardly see him in the building. He doesn't want to do his job. He was to repair some tiles. And he tried to hijack me. He come like, I had some come in, they took a photo of the damage, brings it to the new super. We have a new super. Surprisingly, they hired a white guy, probably one of the few white people who work in the apartments building, the super, a white super. Anglo-Saxon man, yeah. Replaced the Hispanic fellow, the white dude. And I've been here for 20 years, and they've never had to take photos, camera of anything. I was surprised, and the attitude was awful. And I said, yes, it's that way, because I have dogs. And yes, it got damaged, if you know what I mean. Yeah, yes, I admitted it. But it's something you can't hide, you know what I mean? But they're to do the repair. And so the person that's to do the repair comes in after a couple of days. They are huffy. He said, well, you gotta pay me. Real nasty. Like, I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, I don't have to pay for this service. I said, I put in the work order, and as you see here, the super is saying, I don't have to pay. He storms out of the apartment, complains to the super, comes back huffy, didn't say anything, but real huffy. So I walk up to him. I said, wait a minute. I said, look, I see what type of job, this is going to be. He says, of course I pay you for this. Because I see what type of job it is. And I said, look, I'm a very fair person. When you came in my apartment aggressive like that towards me, I got offended. And I wasn't trying to hide anything. He said, of course I'll pay you to do this job. I said, look, I need the floor fits. I know what it's going to entail. Yes, I'll pay you for the job. Yeah, also, see, he found out that what the super should not have said, because that was my business, that I told the super on the side. Because I had to get something repaired before, and I paid the guy, and I told him how much I paid. Yeah, I want to let them know. I said, look, I'm not here to, accidents happen. I'm not here to just, I'll pay you. And so the new super wants to cause a problem and let them know what was paid. So he felt like he was being gypped. So I see him getting an attitude, I said, look, when you came at me like that, and you implied that, you said something that was not true, that's what I was defending. I said, look, I'm here, I've been here for a long time. He says, yeah, I never heard anything bad about you. You consider a good tenant and blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, I'm a good person. And I like being fair. But when you came at me like that, I felt uncomfortable. I said, look, You know, so I said a little chit chat with him, and let him do his job. He did a horrible job. So this is the very beginning, told him, look, I'll pay you. But he does want to do a good job though. And he removes the tile, and then he doesn't know how to fit the pieces in, the little square wooden tiles, and then he jumps on top of it to try to force it in, and it keeps breaking when he jumps on top of it. But I did pay him anyway. But I look at it and I said, this looks awful. Yeah, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But I paid him, I paid him anyway. I paid him anyway. And I hope they don't try to get me for the job that he did. It was so awful. Yeah, it's not on. It's buckled up. It's not in because he took two pieces that were too long and tried to force it in. Of course, it's not going to stay down. They're too long to fit, so it's buckled up. So that's what I mean about hijacking. They want to force you to do something. These workers. These workers come from the streets. They do not respect Black women or women of color. I feel more that they don't respect Black people in general. Yet the people who work in these apartment buildings, they're not Black people. They're Hispanic. And even if they're Afro-Latino, it doesn't make a difference. Their attitude towards you, if you're not Latino. And it's sad. It's sad. And they replaced you. They hardly have any Blacks that work in the apartment complex. These are union jobs, and they pay well. One of the people that work here, very nice man from Latin America, he's from the DR. Very good man. He's one of the few really, really professional, goodly, godly men. He's been here from the very, very beginning. 20 plus years, this man working. He retires next year, early next year. Yeah. And I'd be sad when he goes. He'll be going back to his country. He was able to save money to build his house. See, there are people who work smart, who work with professionalism. And it's not about race and ethnicity. I'm not trying to imply or shame anybody because where they're from. Some people, no matter where they're from, they're good people. They work hard. They do what they told them. They do their job. He had a choice also to stay or go. But see, he knows you really can't get any better. It's about respect. You do your job. And you don't hijack. You don't hijack a paying client. Especially if it's union pay, you get paid good money. And there's a way to ask people. When that man came in my apartment like a bulldog, you better give me the whoa. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. Yes, he did a shitty job. See, it's a reflection on you. It's a reflection on you. And America has to be very careful who they bring in the country and who you have working for you because they're going to pull your business down. This is what they like. I remember what happened in Louisiana with the what's that hurricane? What's that? Oh, I forget the name of that big hurricane that happened in Louisiana. That happened I think 2006. Yeah, he called it the chocolate city. Yeah, New York is the new chocolate and caramel city, city full of nuts. and it's breaking your tooth. It's not healthy anymore. It is diseased. The workers here are people who want to work, like that lady who work for a tip and not service. Do what you paid to do. And you don't like it, you go and find another job or create your job. Dignity, professionalism. And yes, times are hard for everybody. And that lady who called for a delivery, who paid for $400 worth of stuff, groceries, and then you're gonna take it and send it back to the store, and for them to reverse the order. That is not her job, will see. So you're working for a fucking tip. In a climate of people losing jobs and a shitty attitude like hers, why a lot of businesses, big businesses in urban centers, why they're closing down because of your attitude. We've been here in the Americas for several hundred years, but you're not protecting your community. You let drugs, weapons, and illicit activities to go on in your neighborhood, and you don't do anything. But you're gonna fight someone, a client, a paying client, for a tip. Could ruin the business to close shop permanently, and you have no money for that hair weave you're wearing, or to maintain those nails and outfits, or if you have children to pay for the babysitter, whatever. You have nothing. Stop being short-sighted because you're on a downslope quick. These other companies that are union around America are cutting back fast. They don't have to hire you. And yes, they're cutting back on your benefits for that company because now they don't need your labor. They got a whole bunch of migrant workers to hire, and not you anymore, and you don't see it. You better have a good ass attitude because they're gonna let you go first. You're gonna look at those new Hispanic mostly workers, being concerned because maybe want your man, they want your job. They're going to be speaking their language in front of you because they know you don't speak it, and it's going to offend you. You don't think I've seen that on these jobs? The lone black girl on the corner, on one end of the desk, and then the Hispanic females sit next to them, chit-chatting in their language, and you feel left out. You're being overlooked. Oh yeah, you've been overlooked, all right, because your fucking attitude. And you haven't learned. You haven't learned all these years how to play the game. Yeah. Either you learn how to play the game or you get your own company and set up your own rules. And even still, you have to know how to play the game. Yeah, I do believe in rights. People should have their rights and dignity. That's very important. But your attitude, because you're making it horrible for everybody else of the Black community. Yeah, let me know what you think. What your comments are, what your feelings are about what I'm sharing. I know it's not agreed by everything, And some of you who may listen may be working for a tip. You work at the longevity of that company. It's about the company. And yet some companies could be jerks. Yes, I've been left out of jobs. Yes, but you don't screw your job. You don't jeopardize your job. You don't harm your job. If you feel that way, you leave it and get something else. Yes, you affect everything else. Neighborhoods now closed down. Up in Harlem area, yeah, the businesses are all closing. Very few big businesses are in certain black neighborhoods. Now with this migrant situation, people stealing, hijacking people's property for a fucking tip. Wow, we lost it. We lost it. So those are my feelings. I don't like unions. I don't believe in union jobs. I don't. Because you're working for if you don't want to work at a place, don't work there. These union shops is just for them to do illicit, my feeling, my opinion, that is illicit activity. It's not there for you. So this is Spirit Journey. And I wish you all well. I wish you all safety. Yeah. Please pray for me. And maybe I got it wrong. Maybe my attitude's wrong. So share what you think below. What is real? What it should be. Are you someone to work for a tip? Or are you working for the longevity of the company? You made that decision when you joined a company to work for. So take care, folks. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.